in search of fulfillment. How to drop doership. So let us start with invoking the Gurus. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Pranams to our Sadguru Sri Prabhuji and to all the Atma Bandhus here. So, in search of fulfillment, like how Vaniji said, all of us are in search of fulfillment, whether we know it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not. Everything that we do through the day, from day one to the last breath, is to search for fulfillment. And most of our actions, however, most of our actions indicate the contrary. How there's a song, Nikle the Japan, Pahuch gaye Cheen. We start searching for fulfillment, but end up being more frustrated, dissatisfied, and such. Why? Because the Guru says, you're looking for something where it is not found. Like there's a famous story of how a person who lost a needle in a haystack started looking at it somewhere where there was light, because there is more light here. Let me look for the needle here. But no, it had not fallen there. It had fallen somewhere else. Like that, what we are doing is we are looking for fulfillment in the sort of things that do not give us fulfillment. We want to be calm, peaceful, and relaxed, but all our actions and words, our words, note the words we use to describe our day. For example, this is an extreme case I'm just going to recall here. This states the busyness of life. We are very busy. It's called a busyness, the busyness of life. I jumped out of bed and then I had a quick shower. And then I had gobbled up some breakfast. I dashed to the metro. Then what else? Then I ran up the stairs to the office, if I'm fit, thank God. And I rummaged through all the files. I quickly got some work done. And then I grabbed some lunch in the lunchtime. Then at the end of the day, I battled through the traffic and I went home and I tossed up some dinner and I crashed for the day. So these words certainly don't indicate any fulfillment over here. It just indicates a lot of catching up. I'm catching up with life all the time. There is so much to do and so little time to do it. And I'm always running to catch up with work that I can't do, or I'm catching up with work. I want to get things done fast so that I can do something else that I want to do. Always dissatisfied, always frustrated, always in a hurry, always want to do something else. I mean, this definitely doesn't look like a fulfilled life, though it feels like it. Oh, I have ticked all the things I have ticked on my list. But actually, it is very toxic life that I'm leading. It is neither filling nor fulfilling. On the contrary, it gives me a stomachache and a headache and sleepless nights, isn't it? What do I do on weekends? Especially the youngsters who are, working day and night, 24/7, working on a global time zone. They crash out. Saturday, they crash. And Sunday, they catch up with all the work. Again, the week starts with all this rushing to catch up with too many things. So we keep busy with so many things, and we have so many choices. Even during the weekend, when I want to do something, so many choices. And each choice, I give it so much importance. I give it the importance that it doesn't deserve. Oh, the best movie is running on in town. Oh, the most beautiful restaurant has opened up. My favorite food is being served there. I have to go there. Somehow I have to catch up. So many choices which actually are not fulfilling, but you are compelled to do it because I've made it a habit. And there is a term called the FOMO factor. You know that? FOMO, FOMO. What is this FOMO? The fear of missing out. If I'm meeting friends, I want to be updated with all the things they do so that I can also be part of the conversation. The fear of missing out. I want to be updated on everything that's happening everywhere, in all the fields, politics, this, that, the best things, the fashion, parties, the film world, everything. That is what I keep myself busy doing the things that I need not do. I'm not giving enough attention to the things that I need to do. So I'm multitasking, I'm rushing to catch up. And how do I catch up? I catch up over lunch. Let's talk it up over lunch. Let's discuss this over tea. Even the tea time, lunch time, everything is muddled up with too many things to discuss. In olden days, what our parents and grandparents used to tell us: eat quietly, eat slowly, don't talk. Not happening, boss. We are multitaskers. We need to do everything. We need to catch up. While we are doing eating, while having a bath. Now it's become so easy. We have got mobile phones which go wherever we go. So we carry it everywhere, and everywhere we are doing something or other, which does not necessarily makes me fulfilled, isn't it? And so that what happens is this makes me frustrated and angry. I fret and I fume. The littlest things can ignite me, ignite my anger. See, this is very self-destructive in the long run. And every day it manifests in the form of psychosomatic disease, isn't it? So I go to a restaurant, some dish that I like is not served that day. I fly into a rage. Why don't you do this? I came to this restaurant because I love this food here, this, that. Poor fellow, the other guy, the waiter of that poor lady, she is also in the same shoes as me. She is also rushing to catch up and she is also trying to do her best in the given situation, but that doesn't occur to me because I'm full of me, myself, isn't it? So if I think that this is the case only with youngsters and the elders, no problem. We have the time. We have the time to stand and stare. We have too much time. We have too much time. That is also a problem because the attitude could be, I'm not saying, most of us in the world have been there, I have done that. Boredom. What is there to do? I have seen this. I have done this better than you. In my old days, that's the problem elders have. In my days, things used to be like that. And we nag the youngsters, or we get nagged. We are too disciplined. We are used to a disciplined life. Get up at such time, you eat at such time, eat only so much at so and so time, and then we agonize over the youngsters who are not following discipline. That is also toxic. We are so strict about everything. Or we cannot, if we cannot tell them, we suppress all the emotions. Again, toxic. So either way, whether I'm young or whether I'm old, I suffer. Why? And the joke is, we started with, I want fulfillment. And what's happening? It's just the opposite is happening. I call this scoring a self-goal. You know the term self-goal? Self-goal. In sports, yesterday there was a beautiful match at Wimbledon. The self-goal is one when you are scoring a goal and instead of hitting into your own instead of scoring a goal for your own team, you score it for the other team, by mistake. So the other fellow gets more points than you do because of your mistake. That is called a self-goal. So every negative action, every negative thought of mine is a self-goal. Means I'm hurting myself. I'm hurting myself all the time. So what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong? Let us come to the practical aspects of it. What am I doing wrong? It is common sense. It is sheer intelligence to understand that things can never be the way I wish them to be, the way I want them to be. It's not possible because there's so many parameters, there are so many variables involved in how things pan out. My intention might be something else, and the outcome might be something else altogether. Especially if you're depending on the outer circumstances for things to go the way you want, it's not going to happen. First thing, it's not going to happen. It's better to understand right away that this is as good as it gets. At this moment, the things they are, this is the way it is. This is as good as it gets. That's all. The moment I understand it, finished. The lecture is over. But no, I continue to be a control freak. I have no satisfaction. I want things the way. So no surrender, no acceptance, and I do not acknowledge a higher power, which is also intelligence, isn't it? A higher power is driving all this. I am so little. How can I drive anything in anywhere? I cannot even drive myself to, wherever I want. So this lack of appreciation of a higher force, a higher power in life, which is responsible for all the unfoldment in my life, is another self goal. If I don't acknowledge it, I'll always be in trouble. I'll always be frustrated, irritated, confused, and I'll go on irritating the world around me also. So, okay, fine. I accept. I understand there's a higher power. What do? I surrender. And I ask for advice. That is what Arjuna did, isn't it? In the Mahabharata war, he was confused totally. He was also besieged by confusion, doubt. He had too many choices and he wanted to take the easiest one, and he asked Krishna for advice. He surrendered. This Arjuna is the copy, the poster boy for all our problems. He's a go-to person. We want to find any answers, we go to Arjuna and we go to Krishna. The Mahabharata is the greatest epic ever, which has the best psychological drama. So many characters. I can find myself in so many, at least in 10, 11 characters, I can find myself. It's like that. It's such a beautiful, comprehensive work. So there is really no need to look further. Just look at how, Krishna resolves each of the problems of Arjuna. And the only thing I need to do is, I have to surrender. I have to ask. Arjuna tells Krishna, I am besieged by Karpanya dosha, Krupana. The word Krupana in Sanskrit means miser, one who is a miser, the one who doesn't surrender, the one who thinks he or she is the ultimate, the most intelligent, the best possible person to give find answers all by myself. I can find. He's a Krupana. He or she is a Krupana. So Arjuna says, I am besieged by this Karpanya dosha. I feel very constricted. I'm not able to function. My mind is very constricted. I cannot open my mind. I cannot see the big picture. That is the meaning of being a Krupana. You are unable to see the big picture. Just me, myself, and my problems they take on a huge mammoth proportions in my own head. So the first thing is to surrender and ask Krishna to guide. Why Krishna? Because he's the greatest psychologist there is. No two thoughts about it. He's the fellow to give us the answers, which is there. Surrendering is not defeatist. The word surrender, sometimes the youngsters don't like it. What do you mean? I'm in control of my life. Why should I surrender? It is not defeat. It is the most intelligent thing to do. The moment I surrender, that means the moment I accept, then I know from now what's the other door opens. It is living in denial is stupidity. To accept is to be intelligent. That's what Arjuna did, and that's what we should also do. And one more reason why, one more self goal is not making use of human birth. Okay. not making use of human birth. Why? Because I don't know what is human birth for. I am not sure why I am born. Why am I put in this situation? I am like a lost babe in the woods. What am I doing here? All of us are besieged by such, questions in some or the other time in life. In the middle of everything, I feel, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? Why am I here? So this, there is the beautiful Upanishad called the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. What is this Brihadaranyaka? The big forest Upanishad. In that, it's a very big Upanishad. That's why it's called the Brihat, the huge Upanishad. A lot of things are there. Upanishads, as we know, are our the greatest scriptures which tell us how to live and what to do with our lives. So in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is this situation of Janaka Maharaja and his Asthana. This Janaka again is a poster boy for Vedantins. He was an enlightened king and a lot of lessons to learn from his life. So in this Janaka's Asthana, in his court, it was the most celebrated court, and the brains of the land were there. His court, they were in his court. The best brains of the court were. So he used to have these Mahasabhas where the scholars used to debate with each other, and depending on their scholarliness, they were admitted into the court of Janaka. And so Janaka had a advisor. Her name was Gargi. She was a sage. She was an enlightened, woman, Gargi. And she was in charge of the screening process of letting the scholars into Janaka's Asthana. And so Gargi would ask questions. Gargi would ask questions to the scholars. And if she felt that their answers were appropriate, she would let them into Janaka's Asthana. So one such sage who came to be admitted into Janaka's court was the sage Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya, incidentally, is featured mostly in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So Yajnavalkya, the question Gargi asked Yajnavalkya is, Kaha Krupanaha? Who is the Krupana? Who is the stingy person? So the common answer to that, who is stingy, is the one who doesn't give, the one who hoards everything for himself or herself, the one who doesn't share. A miserly person, a stingy person, is that a general definition? But here, Yajnavalkya, you know what he says? Atmanam aviditva yaha asmat lokat praiti. That is what exactly he says. That means the one who doesn't realize himself, Atmanam aviditva, the one who doesn't realize himself, yaha asmat lokam praiti, the one who departs from this world without knowing himself or herself, is a krupana. Look at the definition of this karpanya dosha. The krupana is one who hoards the brain cells, not just money. I am not using my existence, I am not using my birth, I am not using my brains for the purpose for which it is intended. That is krupana. Okay, it's not about not giving donations or all that. It's about this. The one who departs from the world without knowing oneself. Dying with self-ignorance is krupana. Why? I'm going to be born again and again and again. Unless I stop being a krupana, this is going to go on. I'm going to be frustrated, I'm going to be irritated, and I'm going to come back again and again. So a life wasted in pursuit of the world and not in pursuit of self-knowledge is karpanya. The brains are not for pickling, in the lab they put the brain in a pickle. They are not for pickling. They are meant to realize oneself. The adhikari body, the human body, is an adhikari body. We might say, oh, the population of the world has gone up, 8 billion people, oh my God. No, from the standpoint of the Upanishad, it's a beautiful thing. 8 billion adhikari bodies are there. 8 billion people who have the potential to know themselves. Only the human birth can give me that, not an animal body. Animals don't need it also. Not any other body, isn't it? So we are primed for self-knowledge. We are primed to discover the purpose of human life. So what happens when I find the purpose of human life? My relative destiny changes to the ultimate destiny. See, what we are all working at the relative level, is to become, all the worldly desire: get a house, get a promotion, be happy, the children should get jobs. So many things are in that's a relative destiny. But the higher destiny is revealed. When we go to the strict scriptures, it's revealed. The relative destiny could be fine, it could be nice and fulfilling. It will be content, it gives me contentment, but fulfillment comes only when I find the ultimate destiny of human life, isn't it? So the relative destiny, I can, I want to be content. I can get with good food, good sleep, good friends, good, outing. I can be contented. But fulfillment is something else. I feel nice. I feel I've done something important. I feel like, I feel nice. I meditate for half an hour. Fulfillment. It's not contentment. I do yoga. I don't miss yoga. I do yoga. Fulfillment. I go for a walk. Nice. Fulfillment. Because they're all as per the scriptures, as per the Vedas. The Vedas, they give us how to lead life. The Vedas actually give us how to lead life, how to behave, how to eat, how to walk, how to talk. Can you believe that? Everything is given in the Vedas. So even unknowingly, when we do such things, we feel fulfilled. That is why we need to go to the scriptures and find the fulfillment of both the relative destiny and the ultimate destiny. So why don't we do it? Grace. Grace of God is required even to embark on the path. That's what Krishna says. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan man prapadyate. Only the very, very fortunate turn to me for advice. And when they turn to me, I will take care of them. Don't worry about it. Krishna, he's so compassionate that he is willing to guide everyone. But some people don't care, like Duryodhana. He said, I know everything. I don't want to do the right thing. What's your problem? Krishna says, okay, go suffer. No, I can't help you then. Right. So, enough of sales talk. We shall go for fulfillment. We shall go with Krishna. Right? We shall go with Krishna. But don't give me all this spirituality talk. Some youngsters might say. Don't give me all this. Don't ask me to go to the Vedas, learn Vedanta, become spiritual. No, it's not for me. One monk in Buddha's entourage, Buddha had a lot of followers. One monk asked Buddha, "Look, you left your throne. You were a prince, and you left all that because you saw death, you saw disease, you saw old age, you saw poverty, you saw all the bad stuff of life. You left and you became a enlightened or Buddha or whatever. But now even you are becoming old. No, even you have disease. See, Buddha lived for 90 odd years. He said, even you are old, even you are becoming old. What did you gain from this? What happened to you? I mean, what was the big deal in leaving your throne? Nothing is the change for you." So the Buddha says, look, life throws two arrows at you. One is the arrow of samsara. Samsara is what? Just what we just described. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. All this is samsara. And the second arrow is how I react to it, how I respond to all this. That is the second arrow. That is the what causes me problem. Samsara is just the way it is. It is Ishvara Shrishti. This is what it is. That's it. But the way I look at it is my own personal vasanas, that my own personal baggage. I look at it with my own baggage. I either like it or I dislike it. I want something else. I reject this. That is what causes me problem. That's the second arrow. So Buddha says, spirituality removes the second arrow. Spirituality removes the second arrow. It will teach you how to deal with life. That is what the Buddha's answer was. But it's very difficult to walk on this spirituality. See how difficult it was for you, Mr. Buddha. How much trouble you had to take, how much you meditated, how much you struggled. You left water, you left food, everything you left. Krishna says, walk. We have no choice. You need a lot of courage. You need conviction. Dhiraha tatra namunjati, he says. You have to start somewhere. You have to stop this cacophony. You have to stop the dissonance. At some point in life, you have to do that, no? Start now. Start now. Okay? That's what Krishna tells Arjuna, and Krishna, through Arjuna, Krishna is telling all of us. Okay? So, give me practical tips. Okay? I'm sold. Let me walk the path of Vedanta, but give me practical tips. Don't give me bada big talk. Give me practical tips. Arjuna asks. Krishna gives full of practical tips. The whole of Bhagavad Gita is all about practical tips only. Full of practical tips. And in the end, he says, because he gave him many options, but in Arjuna, in the middle of the battlefield, he couldn't do any of them. He could not do dhyana. He could not run away and do some breathing practice. He could not do Raja Yoga, nothing. All he did was Karma Yoga. He just stood there and fought, because Krishna said, Mam Anusmara Yudhya Cha. Just remember me, fight the battle of life. That's what Krishna is telling all of us. Just remember me and fight the battle of life. Wherever you are, do your stuff. That's all. So what is this Mam Anusmara? What should I remember? Why should I remember Krishna? What is this remembrance? Just remember the big picture, that something else is in control. Remember my teachings, whatever I have told you in the, whatever tips I give you right now, remember that. And remember the teachings of the scripture. This is what you have to remember. Ma Manuspara, not that you have to keep a picture of Krishna in my pocket and fight. No. It should remind me of Krishna's teachings. It should remind me of the big picture that I learned. So let us walk with Krishna. That is what we are doing right now. So what happens when we ask Krishna? He will catch my hand. He will not leave it. He will not leave me. And every moment of my life, he is going to remind me what is right and what is wrong. So let us see what we can learn. The first thing that Krishna tells me is, yes, here it is. The first day, yeah. Krishna tells me, be inclusive, not exclusive. What is this inclusive and not exclusive? This is based on the Karma Yoga theory of Krishna. He says, don't be selfish, be selfless. Give. Learn to give, learn to share. That is the first thing that Krishna tells. He reminds at every step that being selfish is kripana. It will constrict you. It's not going to take you anywhere. You will still be going around in circles with I, me, myself. Especially, see, we are all used to giving things. I'm sure all of us here, without exception, and most of us in our circles, we give. We give clothes, we donate, we help out during the pandemic, or if there's a traffic jam, I'm sure we get down and help the traffic clear itself. We are all givers. It is easy to give material things. We do that. A little harder to give time and effort, and it's very hard to give oneself totally to anything. The more and more and I share, I give of myself, the more expansive I become. And there is so little time for me to think of I, me, myself, that I find fulfillment in giving and sharing. There was a study conducted by a university in the US. I can't recall which, in which the students were suddenly, one fine day in class, the professor said, come, get up all of, let's go and watch a movie. Oh, the children were very happy. Oh, the students were happy. Oh, yeah, let's go watch the latest movie. And they had a great time. It's nice to be with friends, that too with the professor, enjoying the movie with you. They all had a good time. And a week later, the professor took them to an orphanage. Come, let's spend some, 1 hour at the orphanage. Let's see what's happening there. And so they all went to an orphanage and they helped out, serving the children and playing with them and teaching them stuff, teaching them to study, teaching them a new language, whatever they could, whatever skills they had, they shared with the orphans, and they came back. 6 months later, when the professor asked the student, remember, we had gone to a movie some 6 months ago. Do you remember the name of the movie? Half of them couldn't recall. what the name of the movie was. They vaguely even recalled that they had even been to a movie. Remember the orphanage we had went to? All of them recalled. All of them remembered that, because that experience was a very fulfilling experience. That is why they were able to recall. And it stayed with them for the longest time. That is why the Vedas talk about the Pancha Yajnas. We have to make this more and more and more. The habit of giving, sharing, being selfless should be strengthened. We know what the Pancha Yajnas are: the Deva Yajna, the Pitru Yajna, the Manusha Yajna, the Bhuta Yajna, and the Jnana Yajna. Share your wealth and care for the elderly, care for the people around you, care for the environment, care for every little thing. See, I cannot do everything all the time, but something, sometime, little, every little drop of water makes the mighty ocean, like the cliche goes, isn't it? So I might think, okay, what happens if I segregate the waste? Anyway, the neighbor doesn't do it. He puts everything together. Doesn't matter. You just do your stuff. Don't worry about the neighbor. So little things we can inculcate in our life to care for the environment, for everything around us. So that is also difficult in a busy life. I might say, oh Baba, I'm very busy. I have no time for all these pancha yajnas and whatever you are saying or whatever your scriptures say. So what do I do? So Krishna says, erase the difference between the sacred and the secular. There is nothing called a secular life and a spiritual life. Everything can be made spiritual. Every moment can be made a spiritual activity. That is what is called as karma yoga. Spiritualize every action. How? Lot of tips Krishna gives. Every action should be dedicated to me. Do it selflessly. Do it as if it's a worship of God. So many things are there. Offer it to me. Do just for the sake of doing, not for the sake of results. So one thing at a time. So karma yoga is a first and major teaching of Krishna, which all of us can adopt. Spiritualize every action. So work is worship. Work is worship. That is what Kaya Kave Kailasa, like Basavanna said, that is karma yoga. How to make work into worship. So what is this worship? When does work become worship? When I do it with a reverential attitude, work becomes worship. When I don't crib, when I don't, when I don't resent the work I am doing, that itself is a small step in converting work into worship. Very small step. I don't like, I am forced to do some dusting today. I don't want to do it. No. I am dusting for the sake of, forget God. I am for myself. My house is going to be clean. No, if I dust it. So, little things. This is where I live. This is my temple. This place has to be, neat and clean. That's why I need to dust it. So the reverential attitude with which I work is itself worship, right? And then when I do something, when I give something, give it with a reverential. I just said that I just recalled that all of us give. But let us do a fact check. Let me do a fact check. Do I give it with an attitude of reverence, with humility? That is very important. Give it with a sense of humility. There's a very famous anecdote about Swami Vivekananda when he was touring the US, and he was the person who energized the entire world and told them about all the yogas that Krishna talks about. And so in UK, this is in UK, an Englishman was very impressed with what the Swamiji was saying, and he came with a check, fat check for the cause. He came to Vivekananda and gave him a cover. He gave him a check. Vivekananda just pocketed it. And so the man was very annoyed. He said, "What are you doing? I just gave you a huge donation and you didn't even thank me." And so Vivekananda said, "Sir, I am giving you an opportunity to serve. You have to be thankful to me. I am doing the work that you are not able to do. You are the one who has to thank me." So that is the attitude Vivekananda says that we all have to develop. When you give with bent. You bend down and give. You offer. It's not giving, it's an offering. And the receiver has to be on a higher pedestal. Then work becomes worship. Number 2, give even when you don't have for yourself. That is the next big step. Huge step. But it's a nice ideal to have. I can share, but only when I have enough and to spare. Enough for me and to spare. But the ideal, Ma Sharada, that is why we have to look at the lives of enlightened souls and how they behaved, how they lived their life. Ma Sharada used to go hungry most of the days. She lived in utter poverty, even when Ramakrishna was alive. But she used to make sure that each and every disciple of Ramakrishna was fed, even if she had to go hungry. And there's a beautiful story of Janaka. Again, we come back to Janaka. Janaka, he asked, why am I a king? Why am I an enlightened king? Or whatever. And why are the others not? There must be some background to this. So an old sage told him, Janaka, you start walking in this direction. First, you will come across a man who's eating ashes. Okay? And then he will tell you something. Then you go further down. Then you will come across a man who's eating leaves. And then you go further down. Then you come across a little baby, infant in the cradle. And then you go further down and you will get your answer. This was what Janaka was told. So Janaka was very curious. Maharaja Janaka was very curious and he started walking. And so, like the sage has said, he came across a person who was eating leaves, ashes. So he said, what's happening? Why are you eating ashes? So that man said, oh, in my last birth, I was the eldest of 4 siblings, and my mother, we were very poor. And once a guest came to my house, and my mother had just finished feeding all of us. She had just served all our plates. She had put the chapatis for all of us, and she had nothing to give the guest. So she asked the guest to ask the children to give food. The guest asked, I'm hungry, give me food. So she said, I cannot give you anything. I have already given to my children. You ask my children. So the first, the person said, the fellow eating ashes said, the guest asked me for my chapati and I said, what? I have only 1 chapati and after 2 days I'm getting a chapati in my hand. If I give you, what shall I eat then? Shall I eat ashes? And so I'm eating ashes now. I didn't give him the chapati. I'm eating ashes. Oh my God, this is huge, right? And then Janaka started walking again. Then he came across a man who was eating leaves. So he was a second sibling. Same story. He said, if I give you the chapati, what shall I eat? Leaves. So in this lifetime, this guy had to eat leaves. And Janaka walked further down. And he comes to a baby who just born infant. And the infant starts talking. So all this is very mystical. Yes, the infant starts talking. And he says, Janaka, here you are. Yes, I was a third sibling in that story. When what happened was, when that person asked me for chapati, I said, oh no, I can't give you the chapati. I will die I'll die hungry if I give the chapati. And so this little infant, it is born and it dies. For lifetimes is happening with the little fellow. He's born and he dies. And the 4th child, obviously, no prizes for guessing who the 4th child was. The 4th child was Janaka. Janaka himself, he gave the chapati willingly to the guest who asked. Even though he went hungry, he gave the chapati to the guest. And so in this lifetime, he's been rewarded fantastically. He's got everything. He's a king. He's got the best of life. He's a king. And he's enlightened also. So this is a very, very hard-hitting story. I don't think we should literally, whether it happened or not, I have no clue. But it is a statutory warning. Give. When you have something, give. That is the be inclusive, not exclusive, be inclusive. Be selfless, not selfish. That is the way for fulfillment. That is the lesson number 1 of Sri Krishna. And work and worship should go hand in hand. Some people can say, oh, I don't know about this worship and all. I can do, so I just do service. I can work. That's all. That's not enough. Or I can say I can do only worship. I don't know. I cannot do all this work. I'll just do worship. No. Work and worship together. That's the combination Krishna gives. He says, first, in the beginning, you have to do work and you have to do worship. Literally, worship. Worship me. Worship the Saguna Brahman. Worship me. Work and worship. Second, you have to do work as worship. That's the second stage. Work as worship. Only when you worship me, that you will get you will be able to absorb my teachings. Worship me means, again, going back to the teachings of Krishna again and again. Work as worship. Second is work as worship, and third is when you start applying it in your life more and more, work becomes worship. They are not separate anymore. So selflessness will become part of my DNA. That is the first big picture. Be selfless, not selfish. Second big picture, focus, not distraction. Focus. This comes from Dhyana Yoga, part of it. What does it mean? The difference between greatness and mediocrity is the degree of focus one is able to give to a certain task. What makes someone a big shot? It's a little shot who keeps shooting, who tries again and again and again. He becomes a big shot. The one who focuses, the one who goes about something with great determination and attention, that is the successful person. This is the age of distraction. All the time distraction. The WhatsApp pings. Every other second the WhatsApp pings. The telephone rings. Somebody rings the doorbell. Something is distracting my attention all the time. Another study says that, but that's the way of life. It's very difficult to get away from it, frankly. It's very, very difficult. It's very hard. But look at the downside. Definitely technology is a great binder. It's doing a lot of wonderful things for us. But the downside is, when I look at my WhatsApp message, just 5 seconds I glance at it and come back. To get back to full concentration of what I was doing, apparently it takes 18 minutes, 1H. So every time I look at something, every time I get distracted, the moment that the time I come back to the full concentration, to the full efficiency, I'm losing so much time. What a loss this is, isn't it? So multitasking has its advantages and a lot more disadvantages. What is wrong with that? Focus is very important. It's a no-brainer. Shravana. In the scriptures, they say Shravana is very, very, very important. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana are the 3 canons of spiritual sadhana. Shravana is listening. Manana is to contemplate. Nididhyasana is to adapt in our life. In that, the scriptures say, the Guru says that Shravana matrena mukti. You just listen to the scriptures and you can get liberated. How is that even possible with the WhatsApp pinging every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, isn't it? Shravana matrena muktihi. Nisargadatta Maharaj was a very, very great enlightened master. And he said, my Guru told me that I am Brahman. I listened. That's all he did. That's all the sadhana he did. He just listened to the Guru. Shravana matrena. That's all. He believed the Guru. He listened to the Guru. And then in the shortest possible time, he was enlightened also. So, forget about enlightenment. Just to accomplish our day-to-day tasks, we need a lot of focus and concentration, isn't it? The best part or the most useful way to focus is to focus on our better thoughts, the useful thoughts, the elevating thoughts, rather than the negative thoughts we have throughout the day. That way we can use this focus advice, dhyana, right? I pay attention to the better thoughts, the thoughts that elevate me. The quality of life depends on what you pay attention to and how much attention you pay to it. This is again a quote by Swami Vivekananda. The quality of life depends on what you pay attention to. See how beautiful it is. What do I pay attention to? Maybe some hobby of mine, maybe something I love to do, maybe cooking, maybe sewing, maybe playing a game. Fine. And how much attention I give to it? How much attention am I giving the thing that I like to do? My quality of life depends on that. So focus is a very great instrument. It's one of the best instruments that I can deploy to make my life fulfilled. And also I can give minimum attention to my physical problems, engage myself in a better way. See, the more attention I give to negativity, the negativity will grow. Simple. That's all. Whatever is good and nice in life, I can pay more attention to it. Isn't it? So am I being selfish? Am I ignoring all the bloody big problems that are besieging the world, besieging my neighbor, besieging blah, 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 so many things? It is not selfishness. It is just being practical. Just think of it. What can I do about all the problems that the whole world is facing? Hardly anything. Isn't it? It's fine. I read the paper every day. I look at all the horrible headlines. If I sit and worry about it day in and day out, how am I helping anybody? Because if I'm in a position to help, yes, please let me help. Otherwise, why should I? It's fine. I'm aware of the problems and I can only pray. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, let it all, everything be resolved. Apart from that, what can I do? Our master Sri Prabhuji, he has given a beautiful formula of how to deal with negative thoughts or thoughts per se. Thoughts themselves are a problem, whether good or bad. It's best not to have thoughts, I believe, but it's not possible, right? So Prabhuji says, on an average, I don't know which Mahatma has made this calculation, 50,000 thoughts per day. Everyone has. Average human being has 50,000, maybe 30,000 thoughts in a day. Are all of them useful? No way. And these are thoughts that you can do nothing about. Right? Oh, yeah. These are the thoughts that I need to do nothing about. So what should I do? Prabhuji has given another formula. He says, you identify the thoughts which are actionable. Actionable thoughts. Okay. I had to make sambar today. Okay. That's an actionable thought. You get up and go and make something in the kitchen. Oh, today I had to go buy myself a dress. Okay, fine. That's an actionable thought. You get up and go to the shop or order on Amazon. You can do something about it. So such thoughts are just 5 or 6 or 7 in a day. Just give attention to those, says Prabhuji. Just give attention to those thoughts which you can actually act upon. That is fulfilling. The rest of it is all waste of time and waste of your energy and attention is gone. Waste. So focus on the work at hand. What happens when you focus on the work at hand? I'm in the present moment. The present moment is a much hyped phrase, but it is such a beautiful thing. Why, Because I forget about myself when I'm focusing on the work at hand. When I forget about myself and my pettiness and my little problems in life, that is beautiful. That is fulfilling. I'm in the present moment. The triputi collapses. That's another Vedantic term. What is the triputi? The doer, the doing, and the doer, the action, and the thing that you're the knower, the known, and the knowledge. I'm doing something, there is something to be done, and the process of, I'm the doer, there's something to be done, and the process of doing. That is called the triputi. There's a distinction between all three. But when I'm doing something, when I'm painting, or when I'm singing, or when I'm doing with the whole of my heart, the triputi, the distinction collapses. Everything becomes one. That is why being in the present moment, being in focusing on the work at hand is very, very elevating and fulfilling. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam, says Krishna. Yoga, what is yoga? Yoga means a union of everything, union of the body, mind, intellect, and the thought. Everything comes together in a beautiful manner. That is yoga. When that happens, kaushalam, skillful work gets done. That's the definition of skill. What is skill? When everything comes together, the body, the mind, and intellect, they're all doing the same things. They are all helping each other. Not that I'm doing something, I'm thinking of something else. No, that won't help. That is not yoga at all. And so when this is the big picture, focus and not distraction. Distraction is easy, focus takes a lot of effort. And so these are all the preparatory steps. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Ashtanga Yoga is all about this. How to be in the present moment. Preparatory steps have to be followed. Okay, the next big picture. What is the next big picture? Let me pull it up. Yes. Love, not desire. Kama, no. Prema, yes. Why? What's the distinction? Both of them are the same energy. The same energy can manifest as either kama or prema, as desire or as love. What happens with love? Love is all about what is desire? Desire is to acquire. I want this, I want that. Whatever I see, I want that. Love is what? Love is let go. For example, I see a beautiful flower. I love it. When I love it, I don't pluck it. I let it be. If I desire it, I pluck it. I want it to make it I want it for myself. I want to take it home. Maybe I put it on the God, but it happens. The flower is okay. It's an innocuous thing. Perhaps it's okay. But it happens with big things. It happens with people. It happens with relationships. That moha and kama and prema, there's a very, very huge distinction. The same energies, the same feelings, the same emotions, when they're transformed, they can be elevating and they can be fulfilling. So all the good things in life I want to make for myself, that is kama. So that is running, looking for fulfillment in the world because it makes me temporarily happy. I want it. So that is not the way to fulfill, is what Krishna says. But is it wrong to fulfill my desires? Not at all. Please fulfill them in the moral and ethical manner that is being given in the Vedas. Again, we have to go back to the scriptures because they are the manuals, user manuals of life given by the seers of truth, the sages, isn't it? So Krishna says, please fulfill your desires in the way it's been said. How? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma is the basis. Please go fulfill your desires. The Vedas, she is the mother. She'll fulfill all my desires. She'll hold my hand. She will teach me how to go about life. So when I'm a child, my mother taught me. But if I don't listen, when I wake up, when I grow up, the Vedas will hold my hand and they will teach me. Because I'm a recalcitrant child. I didn't listen. So now life is going to teach me, and I have to go back to the scriptures, user manual, and see, oh, this is what I've been doing wrong. And I correct my actions. So God says, give love instead of wanting from others. Want. I want this, I want it. Convert that want into giving. Again, see this karma yoga, dhyana yoga, this bhakti yoga, everything, they're all intertwined. You cannot really distinguish. They are all, it's a wholesome meal. It's a wholesome meal. Everything is required in some proportion on the plate of menu of life. So God says, don't scatter your desires in the world. Do not scatter your desires in the world. Love God instead. Turn all your desires towards God. That was the favorite formula of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He said, everything, you turn it towards God. You're angry, be angry with God. You want to complain, go and complain to God. You want to ask for something, of course God is there. That we have been doing, we know how to do that. Let God be the go-to person for everything. Don't go to the world. Look at that revolutionary way of looking at things. Just go to God for everything. That means what? That's not that I go rush to the puja room every moment and sit and say, not do anything. No. Keep that in mind. Keep the big picture in mind and then go into the world. Isn't it? Again, Swami Vivekananda has given a triangle of love. A triangle of, yeah, a triangle of love. He says, how to love God. If you have a question, he says, there's a methodology even for that. Number one point of the triangle is, with God, let there be no shopkeeping, no bartering. Most of us are, perhaps earlier in our lives, we have been used to bartering with God. You give me this, you give me that. That is fine. God is, he doesn't say Papa, he is very compassionate. He says Artha, Jignasu, Artha, everyone, all sorts of people come to me. People who want only come to me. Only if you want something, you come to me, which is perfectly fine. You want the little things, I will give you. You want the big things, I will give you. You want moksha, I will give you. But from my end, what I should do? I should just go with an open mind to God, just with full of love. Swami Vivekananda is able to do that. Only he is able to say that, right? Because we all know he was tongue-tied in front of Mother Kali. He couldn't ask anything. He went to Mother Kali to ask for a better life for his family, but he couldn't do it. He was tongue-tied. That's what happened when I go to God with a heart full of love. I don't want to ask anything. I'm just there because I love you, God. That's all. So that is the first point of the triangle that Swami Vivekananda talks about. Give and never look back. He who looks back, his ocean dwindles into a drop, he says. He who looks back, his ocean dwindles into a drop. All that will be for nothing. When I ask for something in return, it goes for nothing. The second point is only love. Show only love towards God, not fear. In Kannada we say Bhaya Bhakti. Why Bhaya? God is all compassionate. God is all beautiful. God is mother. God is the mother. Why do you fear the mother? Isn't it? Only love, no fear. When there is desire, it is attached with fear all the time. When there is love, there is no fear. Let go. When there is desire, what if I don't get? What if I lose? What if my these things are not met? Fear is always there. Frustration is there. Anxiety is there. With love, nothing. Everything is you. But sometimes life can be very fearful also, isn't it? Life can be very fearful. Even if I surrender to God, bad things happen to me. What then? Then I should have the viveka to understand that it is nothing but my own karma which is playing out in my life. That's all. It's just that, hello, I'm there. God is saying that. Don't think you can get away with all the nonsense that you're doing. You're reaping whatever you have sowed. That understanding comes in the more and more I surrender to God. The more and more I love God, I will accept it. Oh, God is a mother, like a mother who punishes a child or corrects a child when the child is going on. With great compassion, God will correct me also many times. So we think, oh, all these rakshasas, if God is, what's the point in praying to God? He blesses all rakshasas also. He goes on giving them wounds. That's fine. But God, first of all, when I pray to God, first He blesses. Second, if I don't listen, if I don't learn from life, He will take a stick, danda. That is the law of karma coming back to beat me because I have not learned. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, I'm doing the same mistakes. That is why he takes a stick. Says the law of karma. There are two thrones on which God sits, I believe. One is the throne of compassion. The other is the throne of judgment. That is said in the Bible. So let us hope that God always, we are exposed only to the throne of compassion and not judgment. How? By learning how to love and not how to desire. Reducing my desires and converting it to love. That is how God will sit on the throne of compassion and not the throne of judgment for me. The third dot in the triangle is Love knows no rival. Only our God is a very selfish God. He says, only love me alone. Don't love anything else in the world. Direct everything towards me. The whole of Bhagavad Gita is about, Krishna says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Think of me all the time. Again, thinking of me means thinking of the teachings. Always having the big picture in front of me, how to live, how to conduct myself. That is the third angle of the triangle, because I can see my God. When that happens, I'll be able to see love everywhere. If I give love, I will receive. It's just a question of what I give comes back to me multifold. Okay? And the desire for God destroys all other desires. Again, that is Ramakrishna. His favorite example is the sugar candy. Sweets, they cause acidity. But when I eat sugar candy, it's an antidote to acidity. Sugar candy is kalsakre. It's an antidote to acidity. Look at that, beautiful. That is how it describes the love for God. Love for God beats all other desires. Okay. Then, is there a name for the triangle? Not that I know of. It's just called the triangle of love. That's all. And then there's the last point in this big picture is there is no escape from this point. Adhyatma sadhana. Ultimately, everyone has to come for this. Adhyatma sadhana. This is what Yajnavalkya was talking about in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Krupana, a miserly one, is the miserly fellow is one who does not fulfill his purpose of being born as a human being. Adhyatma sadhana. This is Jnana Yoga. Antaranga sadhana of Advaita Vedanta is inevitable. Self-knowledge, knowledge of the ultimate. Who am I? What am I? Why am I born? All these questions will be answered when we launch on the path of Vedanta. What is important for this? Satsanga is very important. The company of good and holy people. Satsanga. That is where we get all these inputs. And then, when we are in Satsanga, what happens? God will send us a guru. God will send us a Sadguru who is going to give us the way out of this samsara and to live a fulfilled life. Praying to Bhagavan. Praying to a live guru is most important. Some people might say, no, I have Shirdi Sai Baba as the guru. One, fantastic, very good. But it is more beautiful if you have a live guru. You are utterly graced, you are utterly blessed in life if one has a live guru who can correct you there and there, then and then, in that, when I'm going out of the way, the live guru, right? And reading by myself, learning by myself, I read a lot of books. That is also it's fine to start with, but then that itself is not sufficient, because the Vedas, the Shastras, they're all encoded. They're all like formulae, the bullet points. We need a guru to decode all that. We will not be able to do that. So it's best to go with the parampara. The teaching has to come from a parampara, the guru who has learned through a lineage of masters. That is why we invoke the masters, the guru parampara, when we are launching on the path of this satsanga, right? Yeah. Shrotriya, Brahmanishta, Akamataha. That's the qualification of a Sadguru. Shrotriya, the one who is able to communicate the exotic truths in a simple manner. Brahmanishta, the one who himself has realized God, realized his own self. And Akamataha, the Guru has no desire. He has no desire except to teach others. That is Akamataha. So these are the signs of a Sadguru. So getting such a Sadguru in life is a huge blessing. So what happens? What should I do after I get a Sadguru? I have to engage in Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. What else? I have to listen to the Guru's teachings. I have to contemplate on the teachings, and I have to do Nididhyasana. Try to bring the teachings into life. That's the only thing I have to do. What happens after this? Fulfillment. See, all these are weapons against samsara. They are all weapons against samsara. They're heavy duty arsenal. We can carry them with us all our life. And mam anusmara yudhyacha. We can go into the battle of life with these inputs from God. How to find the real Sadguru? Just be in satsanga. That's all. Just be in satsanga. The points to recall what we said. Let us be inclusive, not exclusive. Let us be selfless, not selfish. Let us focus. Let us not be distracted. Third, let us love. Let us not desire. Third, fourth is let us decide to go or walk on this path of self-inquiry. Then the Sadguru will come. Krishna says, the one who seeks me, I will bring them the Sadguru. I will become the Sadguru in their life. I will come as a living Sadguru in your life, says Krishna. So what happens after enlightened, after Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana? Not necessarily enlightened. Even knowing all this intellectually is a huge help. Will the busyness of life, come down? Maybe not. Maybe not. Even then, maybe I will jump out of bed. Maybe I will have a quick shower. Maybe I will gobble breakfast. Maybe the same things will carry on and on. But this time, the second arrow will not hit me. What is the second arrow that Buddha talked about? My reaction to life will not be the same again. There was an old lady this is a story from Rajasthan. She had a little backyard where she used to grow vegetables for her use. Okay, she had probably a largish kind of backyard where she used to grow her whatever vegetables or whatever. And so to keep away the mice, the rodents, and the birds, she had put up a scarecrow there. Like we used to see those scenes earlier in life, scarecrows in farms, in fields. So she had put a scarecrow. And what would the scarecrow do? If something came and sat on it, it would start clanging its hands. It used to do that. One day, it was this trick worked for little rodents and little birds which came and sat on the scarecrow. It could work, and the birds would be scared away. Once a huge camel came and he was leisurely plucking at the vegetables and happily chewing her hard-grown vegetables. So the little woman came and said, "Oh, go, push, go away, you camel, you're eating my vegetable." And she started banging the those drums. So the camel said, in a very, very royal manner, he said, "Little woman, what do you think? On my back, I have carried war drums. The kings have taken me to the battlefield. They have placed war drums on my back, and they have been beaten. That only didn't scare me. What, your little clanging will scare me or what?" The camel said. That will be my reaction when I come to the path of Vedanta and I find my I get the knowledge of who and what I really am and what is my purpose of life. When all this is made clear, by and by, the little clanging of samsara will not bother me, because I've seen a lot of this life is not going to scare me again. No problem. Let it as good as it gets. Okay, this is what it is. Fine. And remember, even thinking very practically, what bothered me last year doesn't bother me now. What bothered me last week, maybe it doesn't bother me now. What bothered me yesterday, probably it won't bother me the next week. This is the big picture. It's so easy to remember that everything passes. This too shall pass. This statement, it is very funny. It will make the happy man sad and the sad man happy. Isn't it? Just think about it. The happy man is happy, but this too shall pass. Array, tomorrow I'm going to be sad again. The sad man, this too shall pass. Good, tomorrow I'll be happy. So this is the formula. This too shall pass. So life is like a sine curve, no? Happiness, sorrow. Happiness, sorrow. I'm satisfied, I'm dissatisfied. I'm calm, I'm angry, I'm peaceful. So it is there's a crest and the trough, the crest and the trough, the sine curve. What Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, what Vedanta does to me is, I'll not be too happy, nor will I be too sad, because I know that this too shall pass. That is fulfilling. That is a fulfilled life. What else is a fulfilled life? That itself is a fulfilled life. It is not only fulfilling in life, it's fulfilling in death as well. Because what is the prayer that our elders used to say all the time? Anayasena maranam, vinadainyena jivanam, dehante tava sannidhyam, dehi me parameshwara. Isn't it? Anayasena maranam. I want to die a peaceful, I don't want to struggle. I want to die a peaceful death. Vinadainyena jivanam. I want to live a life which is devoid of karunya, dainya, pity. I don't want to be pitied by anyone. Vinadainyena jivanam. Dehantye tava sannidhyam. When I close my eyes, when it's time for me to go, I want you to be with me, God. Dehantye tava sannidhyam. Dehi me parameshwara. But how? Dehante, how will I get the sannidhyam? When I'm practicing all this throughout my life. Definitely, that is nothing but God. What we just discussed, the 4 points, it's nothing but God only. We are with God. If we are doing all this, it is what God intended and what God wants me to be, how God wants me to fulfill my life as a human being. This is what it is. So these are some of the points I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me.